Yo, what's going on, my boy? With a brand new tips video for you guys today, and hope you all feel good, smelling good. Before we get into this video, as always, I want to say tier list videos are just for fun. Not only are they just for fun, they're just opinion based. It doesn't matter what I think, it doesn't matter what you think. Enjoy what you want to enjoy. Whenever I make these tier list videos, I always get like comments of people who are kind of immature and narcissistic and don't understand the concept of individuality. And it's okay for people to think differently than you. Know someone who rank something differently from what you're feeling doesn't make them a troll or wrong just because they don't think the same way that you think. It's cool, it's fine. If I say something about tier list videos that you disagree with, make your own tier list video, make your own tier list and post it on social media. Do whatever you want. That's your choice. Tier list videos are just a fun way to do things and content creation. It's not a big deal. When it comes to this one's going to be a video where I rank all the modern FPS games in ways of, you know, what I think takes the most skill to play. I play every major FPS game. There are some games I'm excluding from this that I don't feel like is at a tier enough to even like put on this ranking, like Blood Hunt, you know, which is a Vampire Masquerade game. I'm not putting that on this tier list because I just don't think it meets the criteria to be considered a popular enough game to you know, say, hey, here's a mainstream games. What I'm ranking this on is literally just skill. I'm not ranking it on what I have more fun with. I'm not ranking it on what I enjoy the most. I'm just ranking it on the games that I played and how I feel like the skill tier ranks up. I played all these games from both casually, and I played them all when it comes to their ranks. I just want, and so we're gonna talk about that. So there's gonna be some clips in here as well. So it's not gonna just be like me talking to y'all. If you saw my Baldur's Gate 2 video, I included like clips over with some dialogue with it as well. And again, I can't stress this enough. If you feel like a game takes more skill than what I say it does, that's cool. At the same time, where I rank a game does not mean you yourself are bad at the game. You understand that? If I say a game takes less skill, that's not an indication that you aren't good. You know, a lot of people, when you say a game doesn't take skill, they feel insulted. Like, oh my God, I'm very good at that game, so therefore it takes a lot of skills. Like, cool, have fun, do what you want to do. And nothing I say is indicative for you. Is just an opinion. Opinions don't matter, reasons do. I'm one dude on a planet filled with other people. There's 7 billion people on this planet. Don't worry about my opinions. My channel is a dictatorship when it comes to my channel. Whatever, you know, it's just what I think, what I feel. If you feel like I'm wrong, that's cool. That's on you. So we're gonna get into this video. Let's get started with our tier list. All right, here's my tier list. Like I said, not a lot of games, like 17 games. Like I said, my criteria is going to be very short. We are going to include some older games as well. Not a lot. I'm basically including like the last entry of a game. So we do have Titanfall 2 here, Battlefront 2 here as well. We're including like the last entry. So starting things off with Battlefield 2042. Let's go over our ranks. So S tier is high skill, so the highest amount of skill required. A tier, a good amount of skill. B tier, which is respectable amount of skill. So it's like, it's not crazy skill requirement, but it's respectable. You can respect someone who plays this game at a high level. C tier has a bit of a learning curve, but it's casual friendly. D tier, just a casual game. F tier, no skill at all. So that's what we're going with. Battlefield 2042. Battlefield 2042 is going to be immediately C tier. And I love Battlefield. I've played every single Battlefield game. And some Battlefield games, you know, the skill requirement is different per game. I would say Battlefield 3 and Bad Company 2 take more skill than Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 5, which I think is the easiest Battlefield game when it comes to Battlefield. Battlefield 5 to me is the easiest one. But 2042 is what we're talking about. We're not talking about those Battlefield games. We're only talking about 2042. 2042 has a bit of a learning curve. It's not insanely high, but it has a bit of a learning curve, especially when it comes to, for someone who wants to get involved with vehicle warfare. But if you are someone who is decent at shooters, you can play this game without, you know, putting much thought into it. It is casual friendly. You can pick up and play this game and just do what you want to do as infantry. You might die here and there, but it is a casual friendly game. So has a bit of a learning curve, but casual friendly. CS:GO. We're going to put CS:GO. I haven't played, out of all these games, the game I played the least is CS:GO. I played CS:GO, but the game I played the least is CS:GO. I would say CS:GO is a high skill game, so I'm going to put it at S tier and be one of the highest skill games. So when it comes to like this game, if you are playing ranked, and you're actually getting past like the medium tier. So for those who play competitive games, there's the way the tier list works, not this tier list, like the way ranked tiers work is there's the median. The median is the average rank. In most games, the average player ranks out at silver. So that will be like the median tier. So if you're above silver, you're above average. If you have the elite tier, which is like, you know, your platinums, your, I won't say platinums, your diamonds, your champions, your grandmasters, things like that. Cause like you have your top two ranks. Your top two ranks, that is your elite tier. Then you have the above average tier, which is gold. Then you have like, you know, the middle of the pack of good and elite, which is your plats and your emeralds if you're playing something like Siege. If you when you get to like, I would say the high golds of CS:GO, you're going to start seeing, you know, that skill requirement to be at that S tier level. You're not getting past gold to CS:GO if you're, you know, a scrub. Halo Infinite. Halo has always been a weird game, primarily because if you're someone who doesn't play Halo, you don't think of Halo as being a very, very skill dependent game because you're playing as Spartans who are kind of bricks. Because of the movement of Halo and having to master that movement, having to master the usage of the sandbox with all the power weapons, because this is an arena shooter. So this is a little different than what a lot of people who play games nowadays are used to. When you play an arena shooter, you have to deal with rocket launchers that are what map pickups, sniper rifles that are map pickups, you know, things that are coming off the rack. And then the movement, going back to that, is so different in Halo to where if you are just, you know, someone who's walking around firing a gun, you might be able to get things done in like big team slayer or, you know, up till freaking like high silver. But if you don't have good movement in Halo, you're not getting past high silver when it comes to rank, because the skill requirement once you get to like gold, it jumps up. It jumps up a lot. And when you get over gold, you're basically damn near playing against people who are like try hard sweats. Once you get like even in plat and diamond, you're not even in onyx yet. You're playing against people who are like full sweats, full try hards. They know all the slide mechanics. They know all the mount mechanics. They know all the strafe mechanics, and they know how all the guns work in the game. And it gets very sweaty. It's very competitive. Halo is one of them games that I would say has a good amount of skill. So that's what we're going to rank it. We're going to rank Halo as a game that takes a good amount of skill, primarily because of how fine you have to be with the movement, but also because of the under the hood things when it comes to Halo. Halo has built-in blank shooting, which basically what that means is sometimes your gun will RNG shoot blanks or RNG jam. So you gotta pace your shots. For example, I forgot what APG, who's a pro player, he said things like 4 shots with the bandit, then, you know, take a second and then fire first shot, because if you fire 5 consecutive shots, the gun will shoot blanks. There's also the mass amount of desyncing, which does add to the game taking more skill because you have to work around desyncing. The game footstep audio is not great, so you have to work around that limitation. There's a lot of limitations that Halo has that's in the game's design that makes the game take even more skill than it actually would if it had better audio and better connection. Modern Warfare 3. The game that's like pretty much like the spearhead of the SBM freaking like conversations, good matchmaking. Call of Duty has never been a game that's viewed as being a high skill game. Call of Duty has always kind of been like one of those games where it's a pick up and play kind of game where you might view it as casual. I don't think it takes a lot of skill to play Call of Duty. Obviously, if you're an elite player in any video game that's in this video, you're going to excel. You're going to excel in any game if you are a very, very good gamer. But the average gamer is just a casual gamer when it comes to Call of Duty. So we're putting Call of Duty in casual. Rogue Company. Rogue Company to me, again, as I'm gonna say a lot in this video where it's like if you're someone who's naturally very good at FPS games, you're going to excel. Rogue Company to me is a casual version of Rainbow Six Siege, a casual version of CS:GO, a casual version of Valorant. It's not a game that requires as much skill as those games, but it's a game that kind of follows the same formula and is more laid back and more casual with a smaller player base than those games. It does have a learning curve though. So we're going to put it at C as a game that has a learning curve, but is casual friendly. Definitely a game that's more casual than the CS:GO or Valorant, but it is a game that has a learning curve, and once you get used to like how the game plays and things like that, you know, you become you become a casual player in it because it gets that easy. Rainbow Six Siege. We're gonna rank Siege. This is a tough one. This is a toughie. And the reason why this is a toughie is because I can make a case for Siege being S tier and A tier. The reason why I say Siege wouldn't be S tier is because of a lot of the issues that Siege has that the metas create can make the game be a little less skill dependent. But at the exact same time, the entire encompassing body of Rainbow Six Siege requires a huge amount of skill to even be like a plat player. Again, if you're someone who's a champion or a diamond, you might feel like plat players aren't as good because you're not dealing with plat players on a high level. But again, when it comes to the combined rankings, not individual, because Siege is a game that has like Silver 1, Silver 2, Silver 3, things like that. When you combine the ranks to just being 1, the highest player count is Silver 1 and Gold 3, which means a lot of people aren't hitting freaking plat unless they have like a lucky season. And as well, rank 2.0 does make things a little easier to reach higher ranks. A lot of people true rank is that Silver 1, Gold 3 area. And Siege is a game where you pretty much need to have a 5-stack. A lot of games that are on this list, you can solo queue your way to get into Onyx and Halo. You can solo queue your way, you know, to get in high ranks in a lot of these games. But Rainbow Six Siege is one of them games where if you don't have a 5-stack, you're going to have such an immense struggle to even get to plat, to get to emerald. You're going to be pulling your hair out trying to get the diamond, and you're going to be stressed to hell trying to get the ring champion as a solo. A lot of people who do solo the champ are usually like pro players who are doing it for YouTube, and they're not doing it for the own fun of it. They're doing it for YouTube. Siege is a game that has so much going on when it comes to all the operators that the game has and how they interact with each other. You have all the maps that the game has and how those maps all individually play. And you know, there's Siege has so much information requirement for you. Like this, I always say this about Siege. I have videos on Siege, other tip videos. I always say my tip videos when it comes to Siege. Siege is a mental game where if you're good mechanically, you'll be fine getting to like silver and, you know, getting it through like most of gold. But in order to get to like those higher ranks, you have to understand the mentals of Siege. It's a game that I think is definitely an S tier when it comes to the high skill. I don't think it takes more skill than CSGO, but I think it's a high skill game. It is S tier in skill requirement. Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 is going to be our first B tier game. Why? Titanfall has a respective amount of skill because it depends. Titanfall's basically 2 games in one game. There's the pilot version of Titanfall, and there's a Titan version of Titanfall. If all you are doing is the pilot stuff, you're basically playing Call of Duty on Adderall. Like that's pretty much all you're doing. So it's casual in that sense. If you're very good at Call of Duty, if you're very good at shooters, as I always say in this video, you're going to excel as being a pilot. But for the most part, you're just running around gunning people down. Now, Titans, on the other hand, require way more skill than just being a pilot, because each individual Titan has a different requirement of skill. Each individual Titan has different weaknesses and strengths. And in order to be good at those Titans, it's going to take you some work and some grinding. Titanfall as a whole has a very high learning curve, but it's also not casual at all. It's one of them games that that's definitely a hardcore game, and if you want to play it at the highest levels in terms of like being good at it, you have to master being a Titan. Overwatch 2, or just Overwatch in general. Overwatch 2 is Overwatch. This is going to be, I feel like out of all the ones I've done so far, Overwatch 2 is going to be the one that's going to be like the controversial freaking pick. And what I'm going to do with Overwatch, I can make a case for just being a casual game. The majority of the people who play Overwatch are, you know, the casuals. I think like the highest percentage of Overwatch players is nowhere even near, you know, hitting the ranks. As I said before, a lot of what I'm basing this on is the ease of access for you to get to a certain tier. Remember how I said for most games, the average player base is at silver or gold. In Overwatch, and this is not based off like just random like opinion, I've researched the numbers. 26.2% Overwatch players, that is above 56.1% of the player base, is at platinum. and that's second place to the gold tier. Gold tier is 66.7%. The player base is reaching gold in Overwatch. And if you want the numbers for Grandmaster, is 1.6. 1% of people in Overwatch are hitting Grandmaster. So that would tell you that Overwatch does take quite a bit of skill, right? You would think, because again, only 26% of the player base is even hitting gold. So, you know, that one means Overwatch is a skill-based game. What I want to say though is Overwatch is a game with a high learning curve, but casual friendly. Overwatch is very, very casual friendly. I think most people who play the game that aren't playing ranked, they play as a pick up and play game. They go into quick play and they just play that. That's majority of what they're doing. A lot of people who play Overwatch, in my opinion, are likely just playing quick play, which is where that casual come from. But it does have a learning curve. In order to be very good at Overwatch, in order to be very good with certain characters, there's a lot of cheese characters in Overwatch. But in order to be very good with certain characters, there is a bit of a learning curve there. Apex. Apex is definitely more casual than not. Sorry, Apex players. I know Apex are going to get mad, but I'm not putting it in casual. Apex is one of those games where, again, high learning curve, but casual friendly. For those who don't know about my trailers, where they are on the placement is how I'm ranking them as well compared to each other on requiring skill. I think Apex takes more skill than Overwatch, and I think Apex takes more skill than Rogue Company. Not more skill to Battlefield 2042 because there's just a lot of other things going on with Battlefield 2042 that Apex players can't really compete with. But I do think Apex takes more skill than Rogue Company Overwatch. But again, it's also a casual friendly player. You can solo queue the freaking plat in Apex. You know, like it's not hard at all. Apex is one of the games where, for the most part, getting to like plat, it's just you playing the game. Like, you don't really start seeing like the skill thing for Apex until you start getting like masters. You don't really feel like you need to have a full stack until you're also in masters or even Apex Predator. Valorant. Again, Valorant's one of them games where, depending on who you ask, they probably say Valorant is just some very toxic CS:GO knockoff. I think Valorant doesn't take as much skill as CS:GO, and I also think Valorant, because of how the game plays, it's easy to get it into. Here's the thing about Valorant. Valorant is a easy to pick up, hard to master game. As in, you can play Valorant, you can go play some casual and get the hang of it. But when it comes to playing ranked, you're going to have to actually start mastering the game, and mastering the game takes way more skill than you would think by looking at Valorant. Valorant deserves a lot of respect. And a lot of reason why there's respect that it should get is because of how the mechanics are for its gun. Valorant's weaponry does not work the same way that guns work in most video games. It's not about, just landing your shots. It's not about just, like point and click like you would in Rainbow Six Siege or in Halo. Valorant's way that this weapon works is, if you're moving, you are very inaccurate. Your shots are less accurate if you're moving. You can still be accurate as hell, in Rainbow Six Siege while moving, in Battlefield while moving, Call of Duty while moving, Apex while moving, strafing and jump shooting and crouch shooting and all that stuff. Like, most games, you can do that perfectly freaking fine. Valorant doesn't want you doing that. Valorant wants you to be a little more stationary to have the most accurate shot you possibly can. If you're a better player, you can throw in some strays here and there. But the way that the guns work in Valorant just requires way more attention to detail and player knowledge, especially when it comes to like how each individual operator works. When it comes to your lineups and how to play them individually, requires a lot of effort. And because of that, I think Valorant is an S tier high skill game. I don't think most people who play games that are below Valorant would be good at Valorant. I think someone who is a freaking Onyx in Halo would have a hard time reaching even like plat in Valorant, because it's just that different of a game and how you fundamentally play the game. When it comes to Valorant compared to CS:GO and Siege, I do think Siege takes just a little bit more skill than Valorant, mostly off just how the maps play out and the chance of you dying from like so many individual like ways. Like, there's a saying in Siege, is better to be lucky than good. because there's so many random ways to get kills and to die in Siege that can be incredibly frustrating, and that you can only prevent it by just having that much more skill than the other players on the team. And that's things that you're not really going to worry about in something like Valorant, because again, Siege is a game that has a structural environment, so you're not worried about getting wall banged in Valorant. You're not worried about dying from below because someone threw a perfectly thrown grenade at the ceiling. Like, there's so much to Siege that makes it a little more skill required, but I do think Valorant's a very, very, very high skill required game. Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is definitely a casual game, and even like people who play the game at a high level PvP, like Grenadier Jake and Frosty and not Cactus, True Vanguard, like people like that, people who their bread and butter is PvP content, Destiny, even they all say that the game's casual. I've got the other guy's name. There's another guy who's like really, really good at Destiny's PvP. He calls the game casual. Destiny PvP is a casual game. As always, if you are someone who's very good at shooters, you're going to excel, but it's primarily a very, very casual game, and the sandbox leads into it being a casual game. We're not going to spend like a lot of time on Destiny because this is just a foregone conclusion. It's a casual game. Fortnite. I think you would have to split Fortnite into two different games. If it's basic Fortnite, then I think Fortnite is a C tier game where it comes to learning curve, but casual friendly, because it is casual friendly, but it does have a high learning curve when it comes to actually having to build things. But with no build, which I feel like has become the primary play style of Fortnite nowadays, no build has removed all the learning that you have to do with Fortnite. Fortnite's a very casual game now, and because I'm going to put it in D tier as a casual game. I do think Destiny and Call of Duty take more skill to play than Fortnite. Fortnite has like a lot of gimmicks, and those gimmicks also remove skill. So if Fortnite never had no build, I would say it's a C tier because the building adds a bit of a learning curve to the game. But without the building mechanics, and again, no build has become the primary play of Fortnite lately, it's just a casual game. Warzone 2.0 primarily. They don't even still call it 2.0, just call it Warzone. Like, it's just a Warzone. I feel like Warzone can be viewed in the exact same way as if Modern Warfare is just basic multiplayer. Like, it's the same thing, but on a larger map with a higher variety of chance of you getting like randomly killed, which doesn't necessarily mean, that's not really something that's skill based. It's just something that's random. If you're Apex, if you're a Warzone player, you're gonna hate that I'm basically about to say this game isn't on tier with Apex. I do think it takes more skill to be good at Apex than it takes to be good at Warzone. Primarily because, again, the way Apex works, Apex is a game where you spawn in with no gun. Warzone, you spawn in with a pistol. Apex is a game where you can land, you have no gun, you land with another team, and they loot a freaking a pill. That pill has purple armor in it, and a freaking a nice ass gun, whatever gun, and you loot a box and has a Mozambique. You're fucked. Whereas Warzone, you land, you got a pistol, people next to you, you can, before they even get a chance to freaking start looting, you can just immediately start engaging them so they can't get loot. So I just think like just how the way engagements work in Warzone takes less skill than Apex. I think because of the map size, it also takes less skill than just regular multiplayer for Call of Duty. So I'm going to say Warzone is a casual game, but I will say it takes more skill than, say, Fortnite and Destiny. PUBG to me is a learning curve, but casual friendly game. I would say higher than Fortnite. Not Fortnite, higher than Overwatch. Simple. We're not spending a lot of time on PUBG. Just being simple right there. The finals is going through a lot right now. Like, their player base is just dropped, which I predicted. I made videos about the finals, and I kept predicting that they're going to lose players because of how the game plays. This isn't about that. It's about skill requirement. I think the finals is a C tier game. I won't say ahead of PUBG and ahead of Overwatch. The finals is a high learning curve game, but casual friendly. You can just play light class and just casual your life away. but I definitely think it does have a pretty good learning curve as well when you actually start playing against full teams and people who know how to actually play the damn game. Gears of War 5, or just Gears of War in general. Gears of War, I would say, is up there with Halo, as in a good amount of skill. Gears of War is, again, another arena shooter. Arena shooters, they have that added event, that added play style of map pickups, where you might pick up a one shot, you might pick up a retro lance, or pick up the boom shot. Like, there's all these other mechanics, and you have the grenade sticking, wall bouncing. Gears of War has so many mechanics to it that pushes skill. It is a very skill dependent game. I wouldn't say it requires as much skill as a Siege, a Valorant, or CS:GO, primarily because Halo and Gears of War, you spawn back in. Those other three games, you get popped, you're popped. You gotta sit into the next round. So the fact that there's a respawn leads to like these Halo and Gears of War being lower, because it's not as much. That's not much penalty in dying. The high penalty adds to the high skill level. But Gears of War is definitely not only is a phenomenal game to begin with, it's a game that takes a good amount of skill. It takes a lot to be a very good Gears of War player, and just in general, whether it's Gears of War, Halo, or Quake. I don't have Quake on here because I never played Quake, but I have seen people play it. Arena shooters, they take a good amount of skill. Like, they take a special kind of skill that these other games don't necessarily have to do it, because they're not arena shooters. Overwatch is kind of arena shooter, but it's more mobile arena, mix than it is like being a true arena shooter. But Gears of War, it deserves to be A tier. Battlefront 2, much like Fortnite, is a game that I can divide. There's two types of Battlefront 2. There's the normal Battlefront 2, where everyone's just playing as stormtroopers and the rebels and the Empire and whatever. I meant to say the separatists. Because you're playing stormtrooper and you play as Empire. And when it comes to like that aspect, you're basically just playing Battlefield. When you're playing normal Battlefront, you're basically just playing Battlefield without the destructible environments, and that's pretty much it. I think it's a less skilled game than Battlefield, but that's pretty much what you're playing. However, if you're playing heroes versus villains, things change. Heroes versus villains takes a lot of skill. You will know immediately if someone's good or someone's bad. You will know immediately if someone's about to be out here just carrying, or someone's about to be here being entire dead weight. Heroes vs Villains takes an immense amount of skill. So because of just Heroes vs Villains, I'm going to say this is a C tier game when it comes to freaking having a high learning curve, but casual friendly, because you can play this game casually. But if you're starting to play something like Heroes vs Villain, you're going to start seeing that skill gap really increase. I'm gonna put it behind the finals because I do feel like Heroes vs Villain just being a mode separate from everything else wouldn't be fair to just say just because it's one game mode it's higher than every other game. I wanted to say it's a B tier because of that is how much to require it takes to play Heroes vs Villain. But Heroes vs Villain has the smallest player count when it comes to Battlefront 2, so you can't base the entirety of the game on a game mode that has a low player base. So that is our tier list. I like the way it looks. I could see myself reshuffling and having Siege as a little higher to CS:GO. I feel like these three games are dead even. Like, I don't think, like, even though CS:GO is like left to right is what I feel like it is the higher skill game. But I do think these are very, very close. I think Valorant, Siege, and CS:GO are very, very close on just how much skill they require, and it's all high level skill. Then it comes like Gears of War and Halo. The position is interchangeable. Only Titanfall made it to the B tier as being respectable amount of skill. Other games just don't crack that spot to me. If this is Battlefield Bad Company 2, Battlefield Bad Company 2 will be in B tier. If this is Battlefield 5, it will be in D tier. And that's how big of the gaps that skill can be for Battlefield games. If Apex didn't have as much randomness that it has in it, it being B tier, the game is designed to allow casuals to have a chance to win. This is not my opinion. This is what the developers themselves have said. They said they made changes in the game to where it allows casuals to be able to get wins, to get kills. It is a game that they want to be casual friendly, because at the end of the day, when it comes to a game like Apex, when it comes to a game like the Finals and Rogue Company and Overwatch 2 and Fortnite, you want as many players as possible. You don't want your game to be a competitive sweat fest, because if it is, you don't get money. because casual players are the ones who want to spend a lot of money because they just see cool shit and they're like, hey, here, have on my money because I want that cool skin. Casual players keep these games alive. So if you're a free to play game, you want to make your game as easy as possible so people who are casual can get into the game. But anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Y'all have a good rest of your day. Y'all stay safe. You'll be to another. If you disagree, that's cool. That's fine. I respect your opinion. Make your own video, things like that. If you agree, also cool. You know, if you play any of these games, you know, what's your highest rank? And not it's like not any kind of like, you know, gloat way, but just like I'm a competitive person, so I want to respect people's abilities. So if you're someone who get these high ranks in these games, hey, kudos to you, homie. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out of here. Deuces.